What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Q1, and I am back with Tyler Perry's Sisters, Season 9, Episode 17. 17? The Ties That Bind. Are we really on Episode 17? Yeah, we're really on Episode 17. So, y'all know we dwindling down to the end of the season. We'll see what said goes for the rest of this season, okay? For the rest of these episodes. So, yeah, the episode picks back up with Gary trying to explain himself out of a paper bag about how good of a person he is, how he has changed. And everybody reminds him how he was low down in a despicable mess, okay? People don't change. This didn't change Gary. I feel like this has given Gary a new way. He just figured out a new way to be manipulative. All right. Anyway, I was saying that Gary was manipulative. Okay. He said that he did all of this because he's unhappy, and we don't care because we don't believe you. And another thing, first of all, I know that the government has shut down, but wasn't you supposed to be taking your tail self on to the motherland with both of your kids? But you were prolonging everything to right your wrongs. Just know, Gary, that's not your only karma. Okay, it's gonna keep circling back. I don't know. So Hayden decides he wants to tell everybody to leave, and I don't blame him. Y'all could go home. We don't have to further discuss nothing else in here, okay? So Danny gets home. She's just sitting on the sofa relaxing, and she grabs her envelope and notices that the money is gone. Money is missing, all right? So Tony walks in the door. He slaps her on the butt. She's looking for her envelope. And she was like, hey, my money missing. She never accused him. She just said, my money missing, but I know, maintenance, or did she say maintenance of the cleaning people been in here? And so he tells her he borrowed it. Most people want to borrow sugar or maybe even ketchup. I'm sorry. You borrowed that lady $10,000? Hell no. Okay? Oh, you need to borrow a job with your broke ass, okay? Come on, shout out to Smokey and Felicia. Most people want to borrow sugar. Or maybe even ketchup. You want to borrow my car? Wait, what did she say? What did he say? The car? Girl, I borrowed it. I thought you was supposed to ask somebody first. Like, I thought that's how borrowing went, where you ask them. Otherwise, this is considered stealing. That's what Danny said. But we'll get there. So Andy decided to call Sabrina and talk about how much Danny is being a bit naive. She said that Dr. Vaughn is also coming over, and she's second guessing herself because of what Danny has told her. So she asked Sabrina, does she have a roster? I wouldn't call it a roster. It just wasn't a lot of men. But she also asked Sabrina, she asked Sabrina if she had a roster. Sabrina was like, you can do whatever you want. And Sabrina is telling Andy this, but she's also telling herself this, so this can excuse her to deal with Rock, knowing she probably shouldn't be dealing with him. But we'll find out later as to why. Okay? That's just what I think. All the advice she's giving Andy, she's really giving that advice to herself. If y'all, I know everybody, if y'all notice, she's giving that advice to herself to tell herself that it is okay to deal with Rock. Because for me, Sabrina's no dummy. But I also feel like she knows that deep down, Danny is right. And we can talk about that as well. I know everybody's not a fan of Danny. And sometimes I know her delivery is a bit unorthodox. But when it comes to, not all the time, but a lot of times being right in the assessment in her friend group, she's not always wrong. It's just that over the years they have written these women being able to not being held to task, or certain people can only hold them to task. I always felt like Danny, they never really cared about Danny's opinion, because they felt like her opinion didn't matter, especially Andy and Karen. If we gonna keep it a buck, that's just what I've always seen. We can go back to episode, y'all. We can really go back to the episodes. Because y'all already know every time Danny say it's Danny. Again, is it the best delivery? No, but was she always wrong? No. Was she always right? Oh no, not all the time. It was, but like, as I was saying all that to say, Sabrina's not a dummy. So you know, in the back of your mind, and in the pit of your stomach, what your friend saying to you about her cousin is right. But because Sabrina is so enamored with the, okay, she's going to ignore the signs, ignore the warnings. The man, you know what? I'm gonna get that one. Ugh. So Andy asked Sabrina, was she a hoe? And I do know a lot of times, in which I don't like, in how the writers kind of, I love Andy as her aesthetics, her body, she gives. So men attach themselves to her. Every man we've seen has attached themselves to her in more of a sexual way, which is the way they wrote her, as the sexual woman. I don't, that irks me. But as I've stated, this is why Penelope didn't like her. You're starting to see this is why Danny is aggravated with her. It's almost like Andy has this sex appeal that a lot of women don't have. She naturally has it. And so men flock to her like a moth to a flame. Like, it is what it is. I'm never mad at that. But would I call her a hoe? No, absolutely not. Sabrina tells her that she's being unapologetic in her era, and nobody should tell her who she should love or who she should sleep with. Once again, I think Sabrina's giving advice based on what she personally wants to do with Rock. Anyway, she... Oh, okay. Ooh, sorry, y'all. Sorry. So Sabrina thinks Danny was being judgy. Andy said that Danny was being hypocritical. We can say this about all of y'all. Y'all are very judgy and hypocritical. And the fact that both of y'all can say that after Karen just shared her news with y'all piled on her. Y'all was judgy and hypocritical to what she wanted and what she had going on. That's just not at the table when y'all ate dinner. That was when she came back from that group meeting. Y'all been very judgy and hypocritical. Y'all entire friend group. Like, ever since you ladies been introduced to us. And again, it depends on who the person is. Y'all will excuse this subset of behavior. But over here, y'all won't. Y'all have gotten better. I would say that. The writers have made y'all a lot better. But, yeah. So, Andy asked Sabrina, should she sleep with Dr. Vaughn? Andy, you don't need anybody's permission. This is why lately you have been showing up like, you know, I don't need to tell anybody what I got going on because I don't need to tell anybody what to do. I'm grown. So why are you asking Sabrina? Why? Normally, this is something you would call Karen about. But because Karen has a whole life on her own, You're going to ask Sabrina. You won't ask Danny because Danny is always going to be directly honest. Most of the time, Danny will probably tell her to do it. Like, but because they are at odds, she feel like she needs Sabrina's opinion. But I also feel like deep down you don't want to do it. And you're having second thoughts because you're having second thoughts. You know, I like the fact that she's operating in a different space when it comes to these raggedy men. Okay? Good for you. Good for you, girl. I just don't like the fact that she's contemplating sleeping with this man. You don't even know him. All you know that he's a doctor. All you know that he can kiss good. You know that he helped your friend deliver her babies. But do you really know Dr. Vaughn? Like, you know those things he told you, but that's just what he has told you. You have no idea as to who Dr. Vaughn is. Okay? So Sabrina gets a text from Rock. I just shook my head the entire time because, hey, enjoy the little life while you can. Okay? And Karen heads over to the salon. Maurice and Pam are in there. And let me find out Pam can cut hair. Because, first of all, out of all of these seasons, this is the first time I've seen Pam do some hair. I mean, I haven't seen her do any of the ladies' hair. I just seen her cut Maurice's hair, which was this time. Okay? I mean, even though we know somebody cut it. But, okay, Pam. I just thought they had her as a receptionist, and that's it. You know, whatever, though. I'm glad that we are, like, expounding more on Pam's skills and talent that far beyond roots to riches. Okay? Like, what her other skill sets are. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm just glad we've shined a light on that. Okay? So Karen thanks Pam for holding the salon down. And Pam was like, listen, as a employee, girl, this was too much. This was a lot. But as your friend, I didn't have no problem doing it. And I was here for Pam's honesty. You know, I actually like Pam. I really like Pam. She tells Maurice and Pam that she's moving to Seattle. So Maurice, of course, Maurice, gotta be Maurice. He tells her that is stupid and asks her, was she sleepless? Like, okay, y'all know the movie Sleepless in Seattle. Check it out. Anyway, she said that, so Pam was like, well, what about Roots to Riches? Karen was like, listen, I'll be a silent partner, you know, but basically everything I'm doing is for me. All right. So she asked Pam and Maurice, you know, y'all can buy me out. Y'all can buy it. But Pam doesn't have the money to buy it, and neither does Maurice. And I really would have hoped that they wrote them in for those two to be able to open that salon. Like, I'm hoping that there is room where they can at least somehow have them to buy her out, and they run, like, Maurice do the business side, the logistics or whatever, and then Pam deals with the clients and the people, you know, the clients and the staff and whatnot. Like, I thought that would have been a good idea. My thought process was they were actually going to buy it, but we didn't get that, and I felt like that was unfortunate. I felt like the writers dropped the ball with that, because what was the purpose? We need to know what was the purpose of Maurice having that vision board. I'm just saying. You know, what was the purpose? All right. Anyway, Danny tells Tony, listen, borrowing money without asking is stealing. Okay? He said it was just $10K. She was like, I don't care if it was $10 or $10K. You do not take my money without my permission. You do not touch my money. Period. So I just didn't like how they had Tony being smug about the whole thing. about you violating this lady. You violated her trust and you violated her personal space. I don't care if it was sitting right there. This is my house. You live here with me. That doesn't mean that you take it because you felt like you would have, you're going to give it back the next day. I don't know that. I don't know you like that to be like, you could just take money from me. Like, I just felt like that was crazy. So he lets Danny know. She was like, did you spit it on them raggedy ass, badass children? And so he was like, well, he had to make his child support payment for the month. And also, he's mostly in gambling debt. So, gambling debt? Okay. So, Dr. Vaughn, next scene, Dr. Vaughn arrives. Him and Andy have small talk or whatever. And Fatima and Zach are sitting in a car. And she think that Gary is trying to do right a little bit. Girl, we don't believe this at all. I am surprised Fatima feels like that out of all people. But okay. So Sabrina had Rock to come over. I just don't trust him. I feel like there's a whole lot more going on, of course, than what he shows us. Okay, like I just think he live at a halfway house. I feel like he sell drugs. I feel like he just do all of the things. But that's just my personal opinion, y'all, for real. So she tries to go over the ground rules with him, but he tries to give her this red pill. And this is another thing. Sabrina, you don't know this man like that to take a pill. You don't know him like that. All you're doing is screwing him. I wouldn't trust him for him to try to coerce you just a little bit, because that's what he was doing. Coercing you to take this pill, trying to do it in a most subtle and nice way. Like, oh, take this pill and, you're going to need this. Why? Why do you want her to be so inebriated, so vulnerable that you can take advantage of her in a worse way? Like, this is what Danny is probably talking about. I feel like if she would have took that pill, he would have done a whole lot more damage. And I don't know, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't she taking like in vitro shot? I think she stopped doing that. I know she have the frozen embryos, and we will get to that because the money, what? Anyway, Karen tells Aaron, about, she makes it home, tells Aaron about what happened with the ladies, how Danny and Andy are getting into it. He feels like Danny rotates on being pissed between the ladies. Aaron, you don't know the full scope, and you don't know how she sometimes is treated in this friend group. So I just didn't like that comment, even though it wasn't a lot. I just didn't like the comment. Anyway, Aaron tells Karen that he knows a pastor, counselor, or something. I don't know, a pastor person that needed someone to work for him that works in Seattle. And basically he hired Aaron on the spot. And then there are homes out there for people who are looking to relocate, right? So this kind of took Karen just a little fast, because it was like, I thought we was going to have time, to move. But Aaron was like, listen, if this is too fast for you, please let me know. If we doing too much, if we moving too fast, let me know, and I will call everything off. So in the next scene, Andy calls Sabrina to tell her that Danny has ruined her night, because she's looking at the bed, but she's clearly contemplating. I think it had less to do with Andy, but more to do with her finally making a decision for Andy, so Andy can say, no, this is not what I wanted. Like, this is not what I want. And I need Andy to be okay with that. Like, if this is something you didn't want to do, don't do it. Period. So, back over at Danny's, Danny find out that Tony has a gambling habit. Okay? And Tony don't think he's an addict. He's clearly an addict. He's been doing sports betting since college. You don't think you're an addict? You're an addict. Okay? Most addicts would say that they're not an addict and they don't have a problem. Okay? So Tony thinks that Danny is overreacting. And I'm looking at him like, are you serious? Like, you're telling her that she's overreacting because you took her money. And she was just supposed to be willy-nilly and just go with it. Like, when I tell you Tony can go jump in the hottest pits of hell, like, y'all don't even understand. You know, she tells Tony that he really needs to fix himself. And he comes with a bogus excuse for his behavior. He did all of this without apologizing to the lady or even validating her feelings and saying, you know what, had that been me and somebody did it to me, I would have felt the way. You got mad at, let me just remind Tony, he got mad at Danny because his raggedy badass daughter went in her drawer in her room and found her vape weed pen or whatever they call those things. You got mad at her. Like, and now you want to be the majority police because you stole that lady money without her permission. You keep saying borrow because there was a chance, a 50-50 chance you can pay her back or not. Like, then he felt like the other audacity is when he felt like this was only $10,000. They paid you $75,000. Sir, please. When I tell you I don't have to see Tony anymore. But Danny was like, listen, you won't take me down with you. She tells him my uncle had a gambling problem and he made his family lose everything. So she was like, nah, I'm good on you. Picked up all his dirty, musty ass, rusty, dusty, crusty ass clothes and his lube. Took her key back and threw all of that other stuff out the door. The way I would have took all his clothes, put some bleach on it in the tub, put it in a bag, and set it out. Get out. Please don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. Okay, that's don't do that. Okay. Let me say this. I was naive in my assessment. I was very naive in my assessment last week, and I want to maybe the week before last week, I was definitely naive in my assessment by saying maybe Tony put the money up, and maybe they want to, like, you know, give us some suspense, give us a little push and pull so we can come back next week to see what happened to that lady money. But he really stole that lady money. Okay? We're not going to say borrow. We're going to say stole because you stole that lady money. Anyway, this is what I don't want. Writers, this is what I don't want. I do not want them to, as she has done, and I think I said this last week, to leave Tony alone. Remember how she was with Preston at the end, met Tony, and just discarded Preston? I don't want her to repeat this same pattern with this raggedy ass, broke ass, ugly ass, short ass, Ninja Turtle looking ass police officer. Okay, because I don't like him and I don't trust him. You know, the Tyler and the writers will always put some ain't men on these platforms. Okay, I'm spitting my bad. I'm just saying. And speaking of ain't niggas, okay, Fatima and Zach goes into Rich's funky ass, fake ass smoothie king. Okay, y'all know I do not see it for Rich. Okay, so Zach decides he wanted to ask Rich about Sabrina. He said, you know, no luck. She's still mad at me. Why are y'all even trying to push this at us? Why are we making this a thing? They broke up. He treated this lady like shit. Okay? It was how he talked to her sometimes, how he handled her. He act like he didn't trust her. Like, you accused this lady of all of the things when Sabrina was really good to you. Okay? Sabrina handled him with care and he didn't appreciate it. Okay? So anyway, Fatima gives Rich praise because he's such a good man, Savannah. Ma'am, where you been? But you don't even know the whole story. So I need y'all to start giving people praise on something y'all don't really know the full story to. Alright? And we get back to the next scene. And Angie decided she wanted to come out in her silk two-piece pajama set. Okay? I thought it was cute. I want to say that gourmet tea, I think that's her and her husband's tea as well. I think they have. I need to really go check out their coffee and their tea. Anyway, Dr. Vaughn thought she was going to be a little more naked. Okay? Or less clothed. So Andy was like, listen, just get the tea. Come over here. We can just sit, talk, or we can talk about the case. And he was like, the case? What case? And she was like, the Dr. Cruz case. And she was like, or, he suggests, well, maybe we can watch a movie or whatever. Well, when he realized he can't get the draws, he suddenly, sleep came over him. All right? Sometimes I do think that those two have mixed signals with each other, and I don't like it. I need clear and concise with the writers. Clear and concise. Okay? I just don't like that. If you're going to be strictly professional with him, be strictly professional with him. If you're not, don't. If it's just pleasure, then be that. But we need these ladies to have clarity. We need the writers to write in more clarity with these ladies and where they are going with these men. Okay, as much as I don't like Sabrina and Rock, she is trying to give Rock clarity on where they stand. But something tells me Sabrina's going to be attached. I don't know. I just feel like Dr. Vaughn has showed his true intentions, and I want her to really see that. All of the men who she's encountered, they have looked at her as just a sex object. The only person who I think was for real serious about her was just Robin. That's it. Gary, I just don't feel like none of Gary's intentions was ever true. You can't love somebody and squeeze them until they pass out. You can't love somebody and get mad because they won't help you get out of jail for embezzlement. You can't say you love somebody and you put her in a bad position where your wife came in her house with a gun trying to pow the both of y'all. Okay? You cannot, after you knocked up another woman and tried to make her feel less than because you wanted to pursue this relationship over here. You cannot say you love somebody and you what did he do? He threatened to do something to her ex if she didn't marry him, if she didn't break up with him and marry to Jordan, if she didn't break up with Jordan and marry him. I may not be in particular order, but you cannot love somebody and pressure them into marrying you by turning a marriage, an actual wedding, turning a photo shoot with her and her friends into a full-on wedding. You cannot love somebody and you are controlling and you're manipulative and you've cursed her out and you call her all kinds of names in the book after you started snorting that that stuffing, shoving that stuff in your nose. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. That's just not love to me. Gary has always been a fan of Gary, and that's it. Anyway, oh, and that's another thing. You cannot say you love her when you tried to take over the People Law Firm, and you bought a condo for her to watch her. Oh my God, today. Okay. So Danny gets a call, and it's Tony, and he tells her, yeah, I returned your money. Again, the audacity, like, you're doing this lady a favor. You stole her money, but whatever. So then the second call was from Officer Green. He do not want nothing. Okay? Why is he here? Why? Like, oh, why is you here? I'm sorry. I cannot, y'all. So Andy Mammy decided she wanted to show up. Okay? She showed up with her white outfit. Okay? That old ass hairstyle. And her judgment. And the scripture. Okay? I mean, I didn't mind the scripture. But still. She just, oh, I can't go stay with your Aunt Myra because her, she was just talking. I guess Myra doesn't have like an up-to-date house or whatever because her sheets aren't this, and she has this and that. And I was just like, the judgment you and your daughter sat there and had, because this lady is not as fortunate as you or your daughter. Like, somebody can just spare me with the ugh. Anyway, Sabrina and Rock. I sure hope you use the rubber. So he leaves, and she gets a phone call. It is Damani. Where you been? Anyway, he tells her he made a mistake by giving her the sperm, and that he should have donated the sperm to the bank. And he want her to get rid of the embryos. And I was like, well, you don't have to worry about that, because she's probably going to be pregnant with Rock Baby by the end of this episode. I mean, by the end of the season. Okay? Whatever. I don't know. Now, correct me if I don't think it happened, but did she get those embryos inserted in her? Or before she got the embryos inserted in her, Rich came in and stopped the whole thing? I don't know. Somebody let me know. Just drop it down in the comments, y'all. Let me know, because I totally forgot. All right. So Karen and Aaron have this they start to have the conversation, and everything is just pure Tyler Perry lines. I love you from the moon and back. I ain't never loved nobody like you. Your love is like the sand and the earth and the water. Still I rise. And all of these ashes. And, I just love you so deep. And when you're not around me, my heart just stops. Y'all know. I'm just saying. It's just, And so y'all can hear the baby just cooing. Okay? The baby is just having a good old time listening to these Tyler Perry lines. Okay? I'm just saying. So, baby Aaron got down on one knee. He gave Karen, he was like, listen, I love you past myself. Okay? You always been the one. I always been thirsty behind you. You always been that one. Although my ex-wife unalived herself in your salon, you still was the one. Even when you talk to me crazy out there on that corner. You always been the one for me, girl. Okay? Even when you treated Zach like crap outside on that corner in front of your house, you always been the one. Okay? Even when I had to check you about walking and giving you strollers for your baby, you always been the one for me. Okay? I love you past my heartbeat times 10. Okay? When I look at the moon, I see your face. I feel like we can go higher than the stars and the sun and all of the things. Okay? Will you marry me, Karen? I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it. Yeah, my girl said, yeah, okay, I don't know. I listen, I had a conversation with my sister-in-law. We talked about sisters yesterday, and she told me how she just couldn't trust Aaron. Shout out to my sister-in-law, okay? Because I love her, all right? Everybody don't chum me with their sister-in-law, but I love my sister-in-law. I will fight behind my sister-in-law. You understand? But this ain't about me and my sister-in-law, okay? This is about Karen and Aaron and they Tyler Perry love, okay? So, I was happy because for the first time, Karen has really set in a space. Let me say this. She is now sitting in a space so Aaron can love her. And she can really love Aaron back without no Zach, no Fatima, none of the girls. Just the love that she is really deserving of. Okay, like, I know everybody wants to give Karen a hard time, but like everybody, like, you know, even her friend group, even Fatima, I feel like Karen is deserving of love. And just like Zach needed a proper needed to be loved properly, so does Karen. I'm just saying, I wasn't mad at it. I was very happy about that. Like, I'm not gonna hold y'all. I was like, okay, because I saw a little tear come right here. It got stuck, but it was right here. I'm just playing. Then this is where the episode ended. All right, I done rambled for 37 minutes, but next week, Damani wants her to get rid of those embryos. That's probably why he's going to visit, because I'm pretty sure that's him at the bank visiting her. And that light-skinned lady going to come in there and say, oh, is this going to come in there popping off? Okay? Ma'am, you play stupid games, you going to get a stupid prize. Okay? I'm just saying. I just think that lady is coming in there because she probably followed Damani or whatever, and he probably married or something. I don't know. Again, the lies. Shout out to Candy. What else gonna happen next week? That raggedy cop is. Why does everybody have to go to Danny's job? Go to the corner. Go to her counter and disrupt her with foolishness. All of these stupid men go to her counter and disrupt her with foolishness. I hope Danny stands her ground when it comes to this cop and say absolutely not, just like Andy. No, why is he here? He can go. We don't have to see him no more. Okay? He just trouble. Anyway, Hayden sees some woman talking to Fatima at the law office. He gonna try to get with him. She was like, oh, is he married? Fatima was like, no, he gay. And then we see Keys talking to Zach about his biological dad, and that is that. You know, honestly, y'all, I thought this episode was good. I know sometimes we don't need a lot for an episode to be good. I thought it was good. Okay, I thought it was good. All right. Shout out to Karen and Aaron. Okay, and baby Faith. Okay. If you liked that part of the episode, go ahead and drop some hearts in the comments. Come on, Karen and Aaron. Well, I mean, we just gonna call them Karen, okay? I don't know, Aaron. I don't know. It's all the same thing. They names go together. You know, the baby. Just, if you like that part of the episode, if you like the episode, put a heart in the comment, okay? You can put a heart in the comment, drop some dollars in the comments, because he stole that lady money, or even drop some smoothies in the comments. But whatever, talk to me in the comments, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. I want to say for the final episode of Reasonable doubt, and we gonna see Kristen go down, okay? Cause she needed. And Carl Weber's Family Business. All right, I will see y'all.